Hello, welcome to this week's video. This is the moment where I normally say, welcome to the sewing room. As you can see, Lisa and I are not in the sewing room in this video. We are out and about. We are in Rochester, New York at Mount Hope Cemetery. I did record this a few months ago, so it's not, absolutely current, but I thought that you all might enjoy taking a peek at what part of our day was like and learning about the Daffodil Project at this cemetery. As you might imagine, a big draw for Lisa and I to Mount Hope Cemetery was visiting specific people's memorial sites, starting with Susan B. Anthony. We then walked across the cemetery to see Frederick Douglass's memorial, and there's quite a bit of information there, both about him and about his family, and we really felt like this was worth the walk. If you do happen to be anywhere near this cemetery, these would definitely be two of the sites we would encourage you to visit. Lisa had found some Beck memorials when she visited before, and we do believe these are at least distant relatives of ours, and since we were in the neighborhood, we thought we would stop and say hello. We are not Civil War historians, nor do we play ones on YouTube, and frankly, what caught our eye about this memorial was simply what it looked like. I did pull out my phone and do a quick search to see a little bit about this gentleman before we filmed here. But basically, this is all from the Friends of Mount Hope Cemetery website. This is a sarcophagus-style monument, clearly. And then atop the sarcophagus, this is a sheaf of wheat, which apparently symbolizes the harvest of God. The wheat is wrapped by a ribbon of ivy to show undying love, and you have to walk up steps to get to this memorial, so you kind of get a sense that this guy's, pretty important. This is a Civil War General E.G. Marshall of the Union Army. He lived from 1829 to 1883. He was a West Point graduate, and frankly, I wanted to spend a few minutes doing what I could quickly do to help with the look of his memorial, not just out of respect for him and his military service, but also because I found out quickly, again in my searching, that in the year 2000, his gravesite was actually disturbed, and I don't like that. We didn't like that, so we wanted to honor him and do just a quick cleanup of his gravesite. Which brings us to the Daffodil Project. We couldn't help but notice as we came into the cemetery that there was a beautiful abundance of daffodils and signs about the daffodils, but we didn't really know very much about it until we had the fortuitous meeting with the wonderful lady you're about to hear from.
A lot of here.
Dianne Mac.
Okay.
Or Dianne.
Okay, Dianne.
So I'm with the Daffodil Project, and a gentleman named Bill Whitney started it 3 years ago, and he was looking for a plot at a kettle. He happened to run upon a kettle. I don't know if you know what a kettle is, but it was from the ice ages, and when the ice would break off the glacier, it would go and make a hole in the ground. And so we have about 5 kettles here. And in the cemetery, there's a lot throughout Rochester, but so he wanted to take the kettle back to the way it looked back then, which it had layers in it, where after so many years it just ran straight down then from the earth moving and all. That was the start. He was looking for a plot for himself and his partner, and he said, I want that hole right there. So they bought a stone, put it there, and that's where they want to be buried, and he started planting daffodils. We call him the Daffodil Man.
Aww.
And so that started it, and we started putting layers in, which you'll be able to see, and everything was done by hand and volunteers. And we work closely with the colleges and people. So we see, so his name is Bill, and there's Bill over there, and we see him, and we're walking every day, my husband and I, for, that's our exercise, and I go, we can't let this guy he's digging these things, and we said we can't. So a couple days go by, and we finally stop, and here we are today. We're all connected. We're all family. We're all planting daffodils and any other flower or we can find. And so it does go beyond the daffodils, though. We're redoing the earth. The earth got really old here by just being dirt, so we are also doing a lot of environmental things. We're doing composting with a company here in Rochester, and we work closely with Edison Tech School here in Rochester, but in our kettle down below, we do have 62 people that we found buried there, that their stones are not there any longer. They could very well be buried in the earth, but obviously we're not allowed to touch them at all. But we've got their names, their birth date, and their death date, and we'd like to get a monument made with all their names on it, which at least, and 6 of those are children. So that would be cool to make acknowledgement that down in this big hole there's somebody there. You'll see 3 or 4 stones there just beyond the daffodils. We're doing a lot to bring back the earth and bring back the cemetery to life. And so that's what we're excited about. I'll introduce you to Bill. This is Bill Whitney, and this is the Daffodil Man. And I'm not really sure what word it's called, but he can organize numbers and figures and everything just to perfection. And that's how we ended up knowing how many daffodils we plant. And it's 5 bulbs in each hole, so you come and volunteer. You might dig a hole, you might plant the daffodil, and I might fill the hole in. So we make it easy and make it fun, so it's been great.
Really
so we just happened to run upon him.
No, I'm so thrilled,
isn't
and
that
I'm
great?
see you're working it here.
Yeah.
That's good.
Exactly.
We need all the help
Yeah.
we can get.
Yes, sad but true.
Everything that you see has been donated.
Yeah.
And last year we had $29,000 worth of materials donated, and then hundreds and
And then
hundreds.
the labor is all people just donating their time.
We figured we
energy,
did a
and space.
grant, and we figured that they had we had over 500 volunteers last year. Over.
We work
And-
real close with RIT. The U of R, yes, but we have another group here in the cemetery, and they work with them. But the RIT, I don't know if you're familiar with it at all, but
Yeah.
the kids, you should see the swim team come, and they lift logs and have,
She was a varsity swimmer in high school.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Nothing like a swim team to get something done.
I
right.
will tell you, I stood there like this, and if I said, "You guys are so great," if I said it one more time, I was like, enough, so.
Well, there's one log, a big green log had fallen off, a limb had fallen off a tree. One of the guys had cut it, I had a saw, and he brought probably a 6-foot piece over on his arm like that, and they lugged it probably a couple hundred feet and to the dumpster, and then these 6 girls picked up about a 10-foot piece and lugged it the whole way, and the crew came from the cemetery and they said, "How did that get here?" And I said, "See those girls over there? Those ladies?" I said,
And they were all
"Don't
the
mess
swim
with them.
team.
Swim team
Don't mess
girls.
with them."
Yeah, don't mess with swim
No,
teams.
it was so fun.
I would love to say a big thank you to both Bill and Diane for everything that they are doing, and also for taking the time to talk with us. And thank you to you for stopping by, and hope to see you again soon.